I welcome everyone to the session on CloudOps versus DevOps. So let's quickly understand what the agenda of this session is.
But before we begin the session, make sure to subscribe to our channel and also hit on the bell icon so that you will never miss an update from us.
So the agenda for today's session is Introduction to DevOps, Introduction to CloudOps, DevOps Lifecycle, CloudOps Lifecycle, and finally we'll be looking into what are the differences between CloudOps and DevOps. Now, the first topic. Let's understand what DevOps is actually. So DevOps is a combination of cultural philosophies, practices, and tools that increases an organization's ability to deliver applications and services at a high velocity. The speed enables organizations to better serve their customers and compete more effectively in the market. So what we're doing in the DevOps is that, if we have a very large project, we break it down into smaller pieces and do the project in an iterative method. What is the result of doing so? The result is a high speed update to the product. By doing so, we are keeping up with the changing market, and this is an important factor that makes DevOps so essential in the market. Now moving on, let's understand what CloudOps is. So CloudOps basically refers to the cloud operations and a combination of a network, its security, performance, and device management, help desk, and other tasks that keeps cloud native applications and underlying infrastructure up and running. So basically in CloudOps, what we're doing, we're basically providing services, pay as you use services to the customers so that the infrastructure is complete and we are able to produce products that are relevant to our customers on the cloud. Moving on, let's understand what is DevOps Lifecycle. So we have different phases in the DevOps Lifecycle with the name planning, coding, build, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor. Now, coming to the first phase, that is planning and coding. So planning basically means all the requirements that are collected from the client are basically analyzed and the details are given to the developers so that they create the code. Now, as we know, in the coding phase, we basically converts the requirements into functional codes. Now, once the coding phase is done, a continuous integration tool pushes the code to the building stage. In the building stage, the code is built into a software and finally it is pushed to the testing phase. Once the testing phase is completed, a continuous integration tool will push it to the release phase and deploy phase, in which our product is going to be released to the customer. In case, the customer wants the product to be released on the cloud, it is released in the cloud, depending on what the requirement of the customer is. Once that is done, the next phase comes as operate and monitor. This is an important phase because how the product is performing in the market right now is judged by these two phases. So a monitoring team is going to monitor the performance and the bugs that are currently there in our product. And all the feedback is given back to the planning team so that they can plan the next set of actions according to how my product is performing right now in the market. So this is something about the DevOps lifecycle. Moving ahead, we have the CloudOps Lifecycle. So there are basically 5 elements in the CloudOps lifecycle. The first one is collective knowledge. Now, this is the basic stage of storing various projects and consumers' feedback. This stage helps CloudOps becomes a self-healing system. So basically what we're doing, we're collecting all the knowledge, we're collecting all the feedbacks, and we're pushing it back into the system so that we understand which are the places where we need to work, so that the next update that we will be working on is better than the previous one. The second phase is assessment. The first step is to assess the organization's requirement. It entails gathering all the company's criteria and goals. So this is also an important phase. Coming to the build phase, the applications are planned and built in the second step. Test runs are carried out throughout the procedure and applications are made suitable for use. The next phase is operate. All bugs, errors, and latency issues are identified and corrected in the third stage. This procedure also aids in the analysis and monitoring of the application's performance. The final stage is the support or transfer stage. It is the final stage in which the consumer receives solutions or results. In exchange, the feedback is gathered for the further investigations, which will be pushed back into the collective knowledge phase, and an iteration is going to start once again. So this was a brief about what the CloudOps lifecycle is. Moving ahead, we have the differences between the CloudOps and the DevOps. Okay, so let's discuss the first key difference between the CloudOps and the DevOps. That is affordability. In DevOps, the cost of setting up and managing an on-site infrastructure, network, and other systems are higher compared to the CloudOps. As CloudOps uses pay-as-you-use services, that are provided by the cloud services. So that definitely there are multiple cloud providers in the market right now, and CloudOps uses them as a pay-as-you-use services. Coming to the DevOps, we need to have a complete infrastructure and networking system so that we can work properly. But in the CloudOps, we can straight away go to a cloud provider and ask for a pay-as-you-use service. So definitely in the DevOps, we have to invest more so that we can have a setup. Coming to the next key factor, we have performance. Now, coming to the performance in DevOps, the performance is constrained by the data center's server. So definitely we will be having a restricted number of servers and we will be working on that. But then when we come to the CloudOps, our resources can be scaled up and down depending on the demand. So the performance is always constant when we come to the CloudOps. While in the DevOps, our performance is basically constrained by the data center's server and network capacity. Now, moving on to the principle, let's understand what the principle is. So for DevOps is a software development culture and practice that incorporates the software development lifecycle, while in the CloudOps uses cloud computing to run processes continuously. So definitely in both the things, we are creating softwares, but in the DevOps, what we're doing is that our main focus is on creating an automation lifecycle for software development. While in the CloudOps, we're using services that are provided by different cloud providers, and we're trying to run the processes continuously and develop softwares. Now, moving on to the accessibility. In DevOps, the accessibility is limited in on-site infrastructure and application, while in CloudOps, the resources are available from anywhere as the services are on the cloud. So definitely in the CloudOps, we are working on the cloud so the people can access the services from anywhere in the world at any time. While coming to the DevOps, everything is happening on premise. So the accessibility is a little difficult compared to the CloudOps. Moving on for the further learning, we can say that DevOps and CloudOps, when they come together, they can be better. If the DevOps principles and the CloudOps services that happens in the cloud are combined together, the performance of the DevOps is going to increase multiple folds. So that was all for the session. Thank you.
Just a quick info, guys. If you want to make a career in cloud and DevOps, then Intellipaat provides an advanced certification in cloud computing and DevOps by ENICT Academy IIT Roorkee, and it is taught by IIT Roorkee professors and industry experts. This course is designed to help you upskill and land in your dream job.